computer. So it's telling me the recording's in progress. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry Moore, and I am the Executive Director at Sooke Fine Arts. I'm here to welcome everybody into today's talk, which is called Monet, Degas, and I by Rose Kamma Morrison. As we begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the territory of the Sooke First Nation, on whose land we gather in celebration of the arts. So a few housekeeping notes. As you have noticed, I am recording today's talk, and that is so that we can download it and then upload it to our website and post it for everyone who wasn't able to make the meeting today and to listen to Rose. So I've got everybody muted except for Rose and myself. We do have a chat window open. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat window, but we'll also have some time at the end of this talk to have some question and answer period. We're pretty informal here, which is kind of nice. What else can I tell you here about this? Yeah, I'm going to change this as we go into speaker view so that you'll be able to see Rose or see me, whoever's talking. But first, I would like to introduce Rose before she starts talking. So Rose Kamma Morrison is an award-winning artist. She continues to explore her world through her mind's eye to compensate for her vision loss. She's always pursuing new adaptations so that it enables her to continue her passion in art. Never will she give up creating. As her world goes darker, she brings light into her art. And like a chameleon, she adapts with style, color, and texture. Her artistic installation with the piece Calm Before the Storm, that is in this year's 2021 Sooke Fine Art Show, started with her journey across Canada in 2017 with a vision using alcohol ink on tile, as if you're looking out from a lighthouse keeper's window. Whilst her usual form of installation is watercolor, acrylic, and pen and ink drawings, she's decided to go with an abstract medium of alcohol ink. The unpredictable nature of the inks excited her imagination to delve into a style that was more unconscious with dreamlike elements. Rose is mostly self-taught with some educational background in arts at NIC, which I think is North Island College, is that right? Which is currently Vancouver Island University now. And she's taken several pop-up classes. Her art has traveled to many shows in the US and Canada and hung on the walls in many countries. She hopes to change the stigma of blindness one brushstroke at a time. So some of you who are CBC listeners may have heard Rose being interviewed by Cheryl McKay last weekend on North by Northwest, the CBC radio program on weekend mornings. If you missed the interview, you can hear a podcast of it by going to CBC Listen and searching for North by Northwest. And now, Rose, I will turn it over to you and I'll get the presentation ready.
Thank you so much, Terry. And thanks for the invitation to do this presentation. I am honored. Monet, Degas, and I, you're probably thinking, what? But actually, we actually have something in common, and that is visual impairment. The only thing we don't have in common is they're famous, I'm not yet. So we both started our journey, all of us have started our journey in art with vision. And as we age, like Monet and Degas, our style of art has changed over the years with our vision loss. And so you could see their style have changed over the years, like Monet with the modeled kind of almost like a textured or soft, loose looking artwork. Well, that is quite common for people with visual impairment. And I started out, well, I grew up with a family of artists. Both parents were very artistic. My dad was a painter. My mom did mosaic, pottery, you name it. If it was popular, en vogue, at the time, she tried it and she did it and very well. And so I kind of adapted to art quite easily. I like to be creative in ideas with art. I try to be original, which is almost impossible. I've been told by someone that there's no such thing as being original. And it really is true, because we all, as humans, share the same experiences and we express it slightly different. So it reflects on our art as well. Now, with my art, I started with watercolors and acrylic. I did murals, gigantic murals. I did backdrops in theaters. And now I do small paintings. Most common size is actually 5 by 7 inches. The reason for that is because most people have about 170 degrees of vision, a peripheral field of view, where I have about 10. So that makes it challenging to do something big. So now I am relearning how to do larger pieces again. And I thank technology for that. I use my Apple iPhone to graph my art. So if I have a picture, I often work with pictures that I've taken. So I take my photo and I graph it. And then I graph my large piece and then do one section at a time. It's painstakingly slow, but I get there in the end. And I enjoy the process. It really helps me to focus, and it encourages me to keep going. And that's what I encourage anybody who has any sort of disability, whether it's mobility, visual, hearing, whatever it is to encourage to tap into their creativity, because really there is no limits, really no limits at all. Now, you have the video one.
Okay, let me just get this up for you.
Mhm.
Can you see that on your screen now?
I sure can.
And I'll put it in presentation mode. There we go. Okay.
Okay, this video you're seeing, this is my husband and I in 2017. We went on a cross Canada trip, and we went from BC to the Atlantic, Canada. So this is Peggy's Cove, and this was the inspiration to this piece, Calm Before the Storm. There's my husband looking onto the rocks. And you could see all the dark crevices and the cracks and the rounded mounds, and then you see the waves. It's just deep blue sea with a white cresting of the waves, and the sky is it's just a beautiful day. And there's the lighthouse. Now, we often think lighthouses is very iconic in so many ways, some religious, some spiritual, symbolic, if you will. For most people, I find with the lighthouse is it's safety, security, it's guiding. So with this painting that I've done, I feel it is the storm coming. And it actually did have a storm that day later on. So it's very deceiving how everything looks so perfect and beautiful. And then the next moment, it's just chaos. And, it's kind of relevant to today because we're experiencing this pandemic. And so we need that safety, that protection, that guide, the light to show us the way, to keep us calm. So I thought this was very fitting, this piece for through this pandemic. And now the process was long. I got 5 tiles. I think they're 6 by 6 tiles and 2 by 6 tile. And I started from the bottom up, and I did it with rocks and using alcohol ink. I just blatted on there, just one color. And I was amazed how it changed, it transformed when you drop the alcohol onto the ink. And it was naturally forming its rocks. And I thought, okay, this is going exactly how I want it to, because I wanted that lighthouse, the rocks and the crevices and everything that I've seen out on Peggy's Cove. And then of course, I graduated up to the ocean, and you can see I've used a deep blue, and it just, with the alcohol ink, I just used a straw and I just blow to make the movement of the waves. And of course, in the sky, I've done the same thing. And to make it a bit softer, I use a bit of tissue just to soften those harsh lines. And the lighthouse, and it was the most challenging part, because I have this rocks and waves, or the ocean and the sky, and I have to erase this in order to put that lighthouse in. So I had to tape it all off, and then go with the alcohol and erase all that where the lighthouse can be, make that negative space into a positive image. And so again, with very careful, the word I'm looking for, I had to work with it very carefully, because if you put too much alcohol in, your picture disappears. So it's a very challenging medium, and you can't really control it. You can control it up to a point, but with the tape to prevent from running. So I dabbed it until I got that sort of the white and gray shadows of the lighthouse, and again, detailing more ink for more color. And I was quite pleased how it turned out. And in order to finish that piece, I wanted to make it look like you're the lighthouse keeper looking out to the ocean, and I wanted it rustic, because these lighthouses are, and their lightkeepers' cabins are very worn out, most times dilapidated, looking a little tired. And so I didn't want it to make it look too perfect. And I think I got that effect. And I'm quite pleased how you see the knots in the wood, and the uneven colors of the frame. It's just, to me, looks like that window that the lighthouse keeper would be looking out to. And it's a challenging piece, because I'm working with different pieces. I'm trying to keep the continuity of the image from my mind onto this tiles. And again, I'm very pleased how it turned out. And with the lighthouse, again, it gives me that feeling of security, safety, and I hope that the pictures of the process of the lighthouses can go up.
There we go.
Yeah, so you can see the graduating of the rocks, showing the depths of color, and what I was explaining about the negative space, to save that space for the lighthouse, and the ocean being deep, and you can see the movement of the waves, and that's all through blowing through a straw and making that movement in the water. And again, with the skies, I tried to soften it up, but I didn't want to put too much alcohol on it, because I didn't want to make it disappear. So it was definitely challenging. And to the next picture, it shows how, now that I put the details in, and that took, believe it or not, lots of layers just to do those doors and windows. I was like surprised how painstakingly slow it was. It's like, come on, I gotta get that solidified, and but with patience, and did require a lot of patience, I found. So again, I'm pleased how the shadows worked out, and the depth of color with the rocks and the oceans and the sky. To me, it brings my mind's eye back to Peggy's Cove. And I think the final picture is the last one there. And then you can see with the wood, it kind of looks rustic, and it's just sort of fits in looking out to the ocean. And it still shows that whole image. So on the last video, it's just a compilation of my artwork over the years. Hi, Connie. And when I first started in the early years of drawing, I did a lot of portraits and stuff. And really just in pencil. I can't really do that as well as I could before because of my vision loss. And that's okay, because, that's the beauty of vision loss. You learn to adapt, and you just learn to try new things. And I really enjoy the diversity of art, the styles that you can just experiment with. And, it's a lot of fun to learn and to be able to accept the new styles. Realism was my thing. Now is abstractism, so I don't mind the out of place things, or the textures and stuff. To me, that's to me, abstract is just, it's another form of art. It's another, people see abstract so differently from person to person, and that's what I love about abstract art, because we don't always see the same things. Like I did an alcoholic, I think it's in the video, in the last video.
Do you want me to run the video?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here the volume might be a bit loud on here.
Oh,
sorry. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or I can talk louder.
Let's see. Is that going to go?
Yeah. So
one more time. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the pencil. That was actually a portrait of my mother. And these kids are just random kids that I just thought they were so cute. And the last one here, that's my daughter when she was 2. And this is one of my very first watercolors. And that got sold instantly. And these are, again, watercolors that I've done over the years. Some went to art shows in Chicago. And this is my newest watercolor, with the moon and the stars. It's something that I can't see. I can see the moon, but I can't see the stars. So I'm obsessed with stars. And because I think it's so beautiful, the dark skies of all these little twinkling lights and things. And this is an old acrylic. These are an example of the pen and inks that I've done. Part of the trip that we went to, this was in Nova Scotia, one of the beaches that we've been to. I like to draw experiences. This is an abstract of a woman with elements of her. Elephants, I love elephants. Whispering Birches is a watercolor that I sold at the Chicago Art Show. And that would be the Nikolai Gumtree. This particular painting is acrylic, and dear to my heart because of stars. And it's a picture of my dad and I gazing at the stars, because that was something we used to do all, together at night, in the summer night. And Yeah, this is an abstract of alcohol inks. You can see the unique movement that ink can do. And sometimes you just let the ink do its thing and then just let it be. And it's a masterpiece, you know? Yeah. So again, I like the loose, deep colors that the ink brings out. Um, that is actually a watercolor of a man in the window. These are actually a lot of the pieces that's been in the art shows. And that is the waterfall, Little Qualicum Falls. It's really hard to see the whole image. And these are my grandnieces. Yeah, I like doing abstract. It's just gives me that, I don't know, it makes me slow look. And I think it makes other people slow look and say, oh, wow, I see something that, do you see that? You know, kind of thing. Again, some alcohol inks you can control to make shapes and stuff. And that was actually a book cover that I've done for a bunch of artists in the US using alcohol ink. So it makes great book covers, I think, because again, with the slow looking, you can see all kinds of cool things within the picture. And this is kind of like what I see, like a visual snow in this watercolor, because I get little flashes within my central vision. So, and these are abstract. This is actually alcohol ink that I created through melting. And I've used a giclée as a finishing for those pieces. And that is a banner that I've done for our local art community. A bunch of artists did some banners, and that was to honor my dad because they named a ridge up on Mount Arrowsmith, Kamma Ridge. And he used to play his trumpet up on the mountain. So I thought this was perfect. And we hung it right in front of where his old business was, which he was a shipbuilder many years ago. So yeah, I really hope to keep going with art. I don't think I will quit anytime soon because I find I'm exploring many new different textures and different styles, and abstract is just infinity of ideas. And I hope this encourages many others to just pick up that paintbrush and just try it. You just never know what comes out of it.
Wonderful. Rose, thank you for that. That's really inspiring what you're doing, and I'm really amazed at the range of your repertoire from where you started doing pencil drawings to how you've progressed all along and progressed in reaction to what's happening with your eyesight. I think that's a really interesting thing. So a couple of things I wanted to ask you about, and then I'll open it up to questions. But so two things I want to ask you about. I know earlier you were talking to me about doing some texture paintings, and we did see a little bit of that one that you had in the video there. So I'd like to hear more about that and what's happening with that. But first of all, you just mentioned slow looking. Can you maybe describe slow looking a little bit more and what you mean by that?
Okay, I will pick up a small painting. Okay. What I call slow looking is when you look at a painting, you know, you see the sun setting, you see a heron just sort of gazing at the sunset. You look at the colors, you look at the movement of the inks, maybe the movement of the weeds on the mound there, and the sky, the color changes, and you can see these little dots. You know, that's an actual texture that's purposely put there. So for one to look at that, someone wouldn't know what that is unless you actually touch it. So this is actually meant for slow looking and touching. So when you're touching it, you feel these little raised bumps. And it's actually a message. But I'm not going to mention the message because it's going into another art show. And it has a secret message. The painting is called Perfectly Still, because we all know herons are very still. And the message will be revealed to the person who purchased it. And I believe that message will be their fate. And that message is personal to them. And I think it will be something that they can touch it, even though they don't understand what it says, because it does take a lot of training to read Braille. So that's what it is, Braille. And so even though most people don't read Braille with their hands by touch, but if they know the message, that touch will remind them of that message. And I hope they keep that message, and remind themselves of that message.
Oh, wonderful. I apologize if you can hear, there seems to be a commotion going on past us. We're in a very busy part of Sooke. I should have also mentioned earlier that the phone, although it hasn't been too loud, has been a busy day here at the office in Sooke Fine Arts Central. So Jen, my colleague, has been hopping up and running into our little back room to answer it. So we apologize for the interruptions. I have to laugh.
Problem.
Just a little aside. Last year when we started doing these, we were doing them in the afternoon, and it happened to coincide with the day camps that were happening in the arena right beside us. So we never quite knew what was going to happen. And then we moved over to a Saturday, and I thought, oh, finally, no day camp, only to have the maintenance fellows start up the lawnmowers outside. So if we just have a couple of ambulances or sirens going by, that's not so bad. So anyways, my apologies for digressing there. But,
no worries.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think what I'd like to do is open it up to some questions. If you are on mute, please feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to ask any questions. I see Connie there. Did you have anything that you wanted to say or to ask?
Well, actually, I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't get my notice on my phone until too late, but it was really, really awesome to see you, Rose. I mean,
you too, Connie.
How long have we known each other now? It's 7 years?
Maybe even longer.
Oh, I don't know. It's been at least 7 years. And because of you, I have been blessed with being able to be at Chicago Passionate Focus. And this year my painting was chosen to be a jury award. And then I was a patron sponsor, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I did sell my Monet's garden. And
I see that.
Oh my gosh, I was just so happy about that. But you were talking about the slow looking. I like that, what you say, because I try to make my work where I want people to take their time and look at the painting. And a lot of people will look, because I'm doing these new things. In fact, I don't know if you can see this one here, but it's all Sharpies. I take a gold or a silver marker, and I'll just doodle and do this big giant doodle, and then I take my Sharpies and I do all these lines and dots, and but you have to take your time to do that. So when you're trying to do that, it's like when people are looking at the work, they have to slow down. They have to actually look at the parse, because and in another thing, when you were talking about being able to see, to be able to see it you know, I still fortunately have enough of my vision that, you know, it's like this, you know, I may be more than you. So I don't have to get really close. But what I do, because I have my 3 foot by 4 foot paintings and I can't see the whole thing unless
Mhm.
I'm 10 feet away, you know. So what I do is I take a picture of on my phone and then everything is right there. So whatever
Ah,
you have, it's on the phone, it's in front of you, it's not so, you know, so it makes it a little bit easier, I think, to say, oh, I need to, you know, there's, I got to fix that spot, or I gotta do this, or I got to do that. And so that helps a lot, you know. That's been what helps me, because like I said, 3 foot by 4 foot, I got to be 10 feet away in order to see the whole thing, you know, and it's not the same. For some reason,
No.
it's just not the same. When you put it down into the size of the phone, it's like, oh, you know, I can see that what that is doing. And so, but I haven't tried alcohol yet. I tried everything else, but I haven't tried alcohol yet. But I love your work, and I just think
Thank
that
you, Connie.
it's so great to see you.
Yes, you too.
And you know, it's this is wonderful what you're doing. And I'd like to try and do something like that myself, because I think people understand better when you can explain what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then you can say, oh, well, you know, I think for them it's like, oh, well, I just do this, this, and this. Well, we can't do that,
No, that's right.
but we do it in a different way,
mhm.
you know. And but this was great to listen to you, and to, you're inspiring, and I appreciate and I thank you so very much for getting me connected, because I also had 4 accepted at Bryn Mawr in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
yes. Yeah. I've heard of that show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for
they had
you.
4 this year. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's just things are happening. I'm, you know, as bad as COVID has been, I think 2021 is looking up for some people, you know, and
I
it
hope
seems to
so.
be looking up for me.
Mm.
You know, and I'm getting excited, and I've done a show already, and I've got another one that hopefully in October. But it's you know, it's very difficult to be able to get to do things um visually, you know, to be able to get around and do things. You know, I'm single, I'm by myself, I have my dog, I do what I can do. But if it's time to go somewhere, you know, it's very difficult to do, you
Mhm.
know.
I have a
But
question for both of you, because you've both mentioned that you have vision loss, and
Yeah.
you've both mentioned technology and using different technologies. So I'd be
oh yeah,
curious to know more about that. What else do you do, and how do you use it? I know, Rose, you said you take a picture and then you grid it off. Is there anything
Yeah.
else? Is there anything else that you do, or that how you use technology to help you?
Well, like Connie says, you take a picture of it, and that's the only way we could see it as a whole. Anything
right.
bigger than 5 by 7 for me is forget it. I can't see. So I have to take that picture so I can see what's happening, what needs to be corrected or changed or, you know, enhanced. So, but yeah, believe it or not, the simple thing as an iPhone is just
Mm.
a
Well,
lifesaver for me for many
yeah,
things, not just
yeah.
art, and also in my running.
Right. Well,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And see, you, that's where you inspire me absolutely crazy. I don't know how you do it. I do not know. I walk with Lexi, and that's as far as I can get. But but the other thing that, you know, with technology is being able to reach people.
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
that's the most important, one of the biggest things, because I think if we were back before technology, say 1980, you know, before iPhones and Samsung and all those, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. Do you think?
No, that's, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
no,
because you-
technology definitely including us into mainstream art and recreation, really
Right,
it does.
right, right. You know, I mean, like Facebook and you know, people. Oh, I'm so happy I didn't listen to people when Facebook started coming out, and people are like, I don't like Facebook, and I'm like, I like Facebook, but you have to use it the right way. You know,
Mhm.
it's about how you do it, and so you know, being able to post the artwork, and then you can let people know, oh, okay, I have a website. Here's my website. Here's this. Send me an email. You know, so
Mhm.
technology has been, I
Mhm.
think, very. I would have never sold half of the things that I have sold. I mean, I've sold things 5 minutes after posting them, and it's freaking out. You know. I mean,
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
right, right. You know, like you said, you
Yeah.
sold that one painting minutes after you know, and that's happened to me. And it's like, oh my God, if I didn't know how to use the phone or the computer
Yeah.
or you know, how to do that, you know, you wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be
That's
able
right.
to, you know, and so I think it's been astronomical. It's been really,
Wonderful.
really, yeah.
It sounds to me too, like listening to the both of you. Are sorry, I forgot you, Connie. Are you are you in the area, or are you at some distance from us?
I'm in New York, Utica,
You're
New
in New
York.
York. I thought I heard a little bit of an accent, but so the technology has allowed you to even connect across the whole continent to even be
Right,
able to
right.
inspire each other in doing the work that you do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
because
really wonderful.
Rose was the first person, and it was on Facebook. Rose was the one that told me about Passionate Focus in Chicago at Second Sense. If
Okay.
I
Mhm.
had not gotten the email or the text message from her, I would have never known about it.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
so
because yeah, that's right. Gosh, when was that? That was in 2014, wasn't it? 13 or
yeah,
14?
yeah,
Yeah.
14. Yeah. You know, and if you hadn't told me about that, I wouldn't be doing it for 7 years.
Mm,
And every
That's
year,
awesome.
only 1 year that I have not sold something. Every
mm.
year I have sold artwork.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it just blows me away. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what do they see? I don't know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Um, so thinking about the technology too, so it's connecting about getting your art out there, but it also sounds like you're connecting through a community of people who have similar vision loss too. Is that right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're a bigger community than you think.
Oh
Mm,
my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
mhm,
gosh. You know, I mean, the different RP pages, just RP.
mhm,
There's so many different pages and there's so many people. I mean, we've got the list of people that, you know, that was it you or was it Nora that started this, you know, put where you are and, you know, what do you have? And there was hundreds of people that were connecting that, you know, it's just like mind blogging because I never heard of RP until I was diagnosed at
mhm.
30. You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
that was 30 years ago. So, you know, but now that I've been, you know, especially with you and Nora and a couple other people that were in the group, that was how we, you know, I found out a lot more.
Mm,
And I'm connecting with other people, and I'm finding out that there's these people that have way less vision than me, and even you. And I'm inspired by them because I look at how they do their work, and I'm saying, okay, well, if I get down that far,
mm.
I guess I can do it. You know,
You
but
can, Connie.
you
You
know,
can. Trust me.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you can run.
Well, I do know what I was just going to ask Rose about that. So you mentioned that you're a runner as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, with a lot of bruises. No. Well, I actually have a dog. It's not a guide dog, but I trained him to help me with left, right turns. And he he tends to pull me away from traffic, so that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I also use an app called Run Go, and it prevents me from getting lost. So I can map out my route, and then I listen to the instructions, and it'll have instructions
Oh, wow.
and certain what's the word I'm looking for? Things that are in the way, like signage or stairs, obstacles.
Yeah,
Thank you.
obstacle.
And so yeah, and so because my dog can't tell me, oh, there's stairs down there, kind of thing. So the app will say stairs on the left, so I will make sure I stay on the right so I don't fall down the stairs, kind of thing. So I rely on technology and my dog.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
my husband used to run with me. We ran marathons together. We've done 14 of them together. And the
Wow.
very first one we ran together was Boston.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So of all races, that was our first run together. And that was very challenging because it was 65,000 people.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a
Wow.
great experience.
Mm.
So again, technology, that's what keeps me going.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. It tells you that there's stairs or that there's this or that. It's kind of like when people are driving and they have the GPS, but they also have the thing on. I was riding with someone, and their
Sorry.
their car was, their GPS or whatever was telling them there's an accident up ahead, you may want to turn or whatever, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was blown away by this. But that's
Yeah.
what your thing does when you're walking
Yeah.
or running,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so it's crazy what technology is able, because it makes it easier for visually impaired people. And I am amazed at how many there are. There
Mhm.
are a lot of them out there. You don't
Yeah.
see them, but they're out there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And, and it just blows me away. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, since 2009, my husband started a Facebook page of helping visually impaired runners pair with guides. So, and we have over 1,500 members. So it's,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's
Oh
That's
my
fantastic.
gosh.
Yeah.
Are
mhm,
they all over?
all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
See, that's
fantastic.
amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. That's crazy.
Right. Well, I think what I'll do is sort of wind things up, if you don't mind, Rose. I'm so pleased to have heard your inspirational stories and to have this lovely conversation with you and to bring Connie into it too. Thank you.
And thanks for stopping
Thank
by,
you.
Connie.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. As I said before, we are recording the session, so we'll be uploading that to our website for others to listen to as well. So feel free to share the link that you have, Rose, to other people so they can see it as well.
I will.
Yeah,
Definitely.
wonderful. Thank you. It's been
Thank you
a
for
lovely
having me.
talk with you. Okay, I would just like to mention that we have our artist celebration event tomorrow, and that will be a similar format to this. It's happening at 2:00 in the afternoon. We will be live streaming it through our Facebook and to our website as well.
Oh,
And so we'll be announcing the award winners of the number of awards that we have going for the show. And then our next artist talk will be on Sunday evening at 7. And it's, gee, did I not write it down? I didn't write down what it was. I'm sorry. I think it's Phyllis Schwartz talking about abstracts and things. So that will be a really
awesome.
interesting evening as well. So if you're able to come and take part in those and listen in on those, that'd be wonderful. But thank you, Rose, so much for your time and for sharing your experience and your inspirational message and everything that you're doing. So I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for doing this. So
Thank you, Terry. It's been an honor.
all right. Thank you. And lovely to meet you too, Connie.
You too. Take
All
care.
right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.